So I'm going to build a bridge from this story from 2022 where a pastor tried to admit to an affair when in actuality he was abusing a minor, to this documentary on Netflix, to this song that's making the rounds. Take a listen.
I'm standing with the chosen one. Ain't no stopping what the Lord's begun. He's only human like you and me, just a chosen one, the chosen one.
Because this is all connected to religious patriarchy. And if you haven't deconstructed from it, then there is a really good chance that you are still being harmed by it. So first of all, what is religious patriarchy? It is a hierarchical structure that is intended to protect the white Christian man in power. So then you have this environment that creates a culture where these men are shielded from scrutiny as well as accountability. What you'll have is a dismissal of any type of abusive behavior. These power dynamics that exist inside religious patriarchy make it almost impossible for victims of abuse to get any type of resolution, because the indoctrination that you receive inside this system minimizes your voice. And it always defaults to believing the leader. Anyone who challenges that religious patriarchy, you're going to get in trouble. The higher control these churches have in trying to reinforce that religious patriarchy, the more they employ cult-like tactics in order to protect religious patriarchy. Now, I know that offends people when you think about your church may be compared to a cult, but let's look at the checklist of what a cult is. If your leader is always right and above reproach, there is absolutely no tolerance for criticism of that leader. If you question church authority or leadership, you, the one who is doing the questioning, you'll be punished. There is a system in place to protect the leader. The priority in this system is to perpetuate the institution. The well-being of the members is always minimized. So how does this play out in real life? Watch this video.
It involved one person, and there's been no other, nor any other situation of unbecoming conduct for the last 20 years. I will not use the Bible to defend, protect, deflect my past sin. I have no defense. I committed the adultery.
I know, but you can tell the truth because this is a lie.
I'm letting you tell it.
But you need to tell the truth. You know better than it was.
This week that we pray that you just help us.
Okay, that's Pastor John Lowe, and that was him trying to admit to the affair. At the end of that service, do you know what happened? The victim walked out alone with her husband while the congregation surrounded the pastor to pray with him. Now, this is a spoiler alert for this Netflix documentary, so if you haven't seen this, you might want to fast forward. The pastor who is at the center of this story, which is a cult, by the way, is accused of SA by many victims. And after they confront him during a church service, he humbly and meekly comes up and asks for forgiveness because, after all, he's only a man. He has temptations, and he was sorry that he was seduced by all of these women. While some members of the congregation did leave, many stayed. And sadly, the abuse hasn't stopped because he knows he can get away with it. Now, Donald Trump, who is now a convicted felon, immediately after that conviction, that song is released, talking about Trump being the chosen one. That is a reminder to the indoctrinated Christian to remain loyal to religious patriarchy and remember that Donald Trump is the chosen one, but he is just human. That is the proverbial Christian warning to check yourself, because who are you to question the man of God? It's like that pastor, and just like the pastor in the Netflix documentary. So in case you're considering not voting for Donald Trump, the church leaders want to remind you that there will be repercussions in the afterlife and this life for defying religious patriarchy. So when we talk to you about how sinister some of these religious indoctrinations are, religious patriarchy has to be one of the most toxic. because it manipulates millions of people to tithe beyond their financial means, to be silent when egregious and despicable behavior is hiding behind the pulpit. Those church leaders smirk at you and pretend to be praising God when they know they can get away with anything. This indoctrination is manipulative and incredibly effective. And so many of us have been harmed by it. And for so many years, we were silent and obedient to it until one day you wake up and you say no more. I hope for one of you, at least one of you today who hears this, today is your day to say no more.